Hello, this is ComSci 22, Fundamentals of Object-Oriented Programming, Lecture 1. This will be a very short lecture followed by a demonstration on how to install the latest version of Java in your Windows machine. Let's start with defining what object-oriented programming is, or OOP. So it is a programming paradigm or a way of programming, a style of programming that is based on the concept of objects. So objects in Java can be compared to objects in real life, such as, for example, a chair. So we can describe a chair, for example, the chair has a color of red, for example. A chair has four legs. So there are a lot of descriptors or data that the chair contains, no? So in Java, objects can have different data within it as well. So data, or we can call them data or attributes or fields. In C, you also have structs, right? So it is similar to structs that they can contain different types of data, an integer, a character, a string, whatever you have. But for objects in Java, it can also contain certain operations or functions within the object itself. So this describes the behavior of that object and what the object does, or what the object can do, and what the object can do with other objects. So that has interaction between two objects or one or more objects. So computer programs are designed by making them out of objects that interact with one another. So this is important. There should be interaction between the objects that we will create in the future. From these interactions, we can have design patterns and other best practices that we can do. So what is Java? Java is a high-level object-oriented programming language. Just like your C, no, or Python. Python is a very high-level object-oriented programming language. When we say high-level programming language, it is something that is readable to us human beings. No, not really readable to the machine, but it is much closer to what we understand and what we can read. Java is originally developed by James Gosling at Sun Microsystem, but now it is owned by Oracle. We'll visit the Oracle site later for downloads. Okay. So it was released in May of 1995 as a core component of Sun Microsystems Java platform with the motto, write once, run anywhere. So you only write one Java code and it can run across different platforms. So it can run maybe in your phone, maybe in your PC, in your Mac, etc., etc. Okay. So when we look at it, high level language, no? This is an example code of Java. This is just printing example Java code to the console. Um, so we can read this high level language, and then the Java compiler will compile it into something like this, an assembly language. We'll learn assembly maybe later in a different course. And then the assembled code will then be interpreted to ones and zeros, the true machine language. So Java, how is Java executed? We need this thing called the JVM, or the Java Virtual Machine, to run your Java classes or your Java code in different or multiple platforms. The Java programs are multi-platform and can run on different platforms, including your Mac, so your Apple products, your Windows, Unix. So the example later, we will be installing Java in Windows. But in the laboratories, we will be using Unix computers, no, Linux, Ubuntu. So your Java code can run on Windows. It can also run uh, in Linux sa labs. Once you compile it, just make sure that the version is same. Anyway, the JVM must be installed for Java applications or the applets to run in your machine. So in order to have this Java virtual machine, we should install also a Java runtime environment. Java runtime environment, or your JRE, contains the JVM and other dependencies that is required for your Java code to run. So to illustrate, it looks something like this. You have your source code, which is ending in .java, and then it will be compiled using the command javac, javac, however you want to read it, but it is Java followed by a C, meaning compile. It will produce bytecode, which is your .class file. We'll see again later. And then this .class file will be interpreted by your JVM to run on um, different platforms. So if you see here, it's not actually your machine that runs the Java code. It's the JVM running in your machine that runs the Java code or the Java class file. To illustrate again, so you have your high-level language here. It will be compiled in Java. The JVM interprets the once compiled .class program into an assembly language for any platform. So the JVM takes care of it. So why learn Java? So why Java for this object-oriented course? No, actually, it's not really required that it is Java. However, well, that is the already in the curriculum. But Java is a really good introductory language for OOP. Well, one, because you are forced to be creating objects or creating classes for it to work on a Java environment. So you really need to create objects. So you are immersed into that object-oriented programming aspect, no? But there are other object-oriented programming languages out there. For example, you have C++, C Sharp, Python. Python can be coded in an object-oriented programming style as well. I think you will be using Python for ComSci 123 data structures. That will be using some object-oriented programming principles as well. Aside from that, Java is a very powerful language and is used for multiple applications now across different platforms. So you can use it in web-based applications with things like Spring Boot, etc. J2EE, this is the enterprise edition of Java. We will be using just the Java SE, which is the standard edition. But we have this thing, J2EE, which is enterprise edition. This is what they use for things like banking or insurance. I worked in a company before, and it's for a Japanese project, and we were using Java for it, like an insurance company, and we use Java for it. You can also have mobile applications that use Java. So Spotify or Twitter, or well, it's X now. Your Messenger, they use Java. Games as well. So Minecraft back in the old days was originally coded in Java. That's why you need to install Java along with the Minecraft if you wish to play the game. RuneScape, the old school RuneScape, was also using Java for it to run. So Java is very flexible as well as very secure language, and it's versatile enough to run on different platforms. Okay. And then the question, why learn object-oriented programming? Well, aside from it is in the curriculum, it is also very in demand sa industry. You know, most of the projects I've been in the industry, if it involves coding, it it is object-oriented programming most of the time. So in the industry, if you're planning to go to the industry, most likely, you will encounter this object-oriented programming. So it is very important that you learn it now. However, there are also other benefits in object-oriented programming, such as cleaning up your code, reusability, and other good practices, no, that you are expected to develop by the end of this course. I also want you to answer this by the end of the course. Now, why learn object-oriented programming, or why have we learned, or what have we learned in object-oriented programming that is essential that we will carry on to further studies, no, or further courses. So I want you to answer this by maybe by the end of the course. You can answer why are we learning object-oriented programming. Okay, but that's all for the introduction. We can go to uh, installing your Java or in your Windows PC. So if you're on Windows, you can open a terminal like this. So to open a terminal, you can press Windows, the Windows key plus R. It will open a text box and you can put in CMD. It will open a command line like this. So if you do not have Java installed, or rather, to check if you have Java installed, you can type Java C or Java compile Java dash dash version, no space, version. And if it is an unrecognized command, it means that Java is not installed in your machine currently. So let's get the latest version of Java following this link. Just okay. Okay, so following this link, no, oracle.java/technologies/download. So this is the Oracle site. As I've mentioned before, it was developed in Sun Microsystems, but is now owned by Oracle. So we have two choices here, JDK 17, JDK 20. So what is JDK? JDK is your Java development kit. So this is what we need to code and compile things in Java, or to compile your Java code. So let's just go with the latest version. We'll have JDK 20 here, and you could use you can have the appropriate installer here. So let's pick Windows because we're installing it in Windows, and you have this, for example, compressed archive installer, MSI installer. Usually I just go for this one, the XA installer. So let's download that. Okay. There. So once it is downloaded, you can open this. Oops. Sorry. Again, let's do it again. We can open this, and here is the installer. Let's just click on next. And this is the default place where it is going to be installed, your Java, your machine. I'll just click on next. At this point, you can click on next steps for the tutorials, API documentation, etc. But at this point, your Java is installed in your machine. So we can open your command prompt again. And let's test if it is working. So if we type in Java C or Java compile dash dash version, okay, it is already installed Java 20.0.2. So that's the version. So this installer also just adds Java to your path, no? But if you don't have if it doesn't do this, you must close your previously opened command prompt. You should open a new command prompt to do this. Uh, for some versions, you have to manually add the Java path to the environment variables. So to do that, you can just click the Windows key and just type in environment variables. So you'll have your system properties, click on environment variables. So we have two things here. So this is for your user, the currently logged in user, and this is for system variables. This is for the whole computer, for the whole machine. So you could just click on path. So this is just for the user, no? You could add Java here. Important to note, uh, you could just copy the address, no? So it's installed in C, program files, Java, JDK20, and it should be under bin. So if you open bin and you just copy this, and then you could put it here. I think the installer has added it here instead. Yeah, here, Java path. It's installed automatically. But if you want, you can have it here. You can add like this. But anyway, we won't do that because it's already installed. Okay, so how to compile your Java code. Let's open your... Okay, let's open this example Java code. Open with... I'm using Visual Studio. But you can use whatever IDE or text editor you like. Let's just look at this code for example. So we have the file name is example java code.java. And we'll go over the structure next lecture. But for this one, you must ensure that this name, public class, and this class name should be the same with your .java file name. If it is different, then you will have problems in the compilation. So we have this here, example Java code, and it will just print hello world Java to the console. As we see, it's here. No, this is the path. So we could just copy the path and then go to that directory with cd command. Just paste it. We have it here. This is the example Java code. To compile it, we do the command java compile, and we'll just say example java code dot java. Okay, so java and then the Java file name. Press enter. If there are nothing, if it outputs nothing, it means that the compilation is successful. There are no errors in your compilation. And if you look at the folder, it now has an additional file, your .class file. So this is the compiled bytecode. No, this will be interpreted by your JVM when you are going to run it. So to run your bytecode or this class file, we enter the command java with no C, just java, and then example java code. Okay, it's important to follow the capitalization, and when you're running the Java code or the .class file, you just enter the file name without the extension. So in this case, it's just example Java code. So when we enter that, it says hello world Java. So that's how you run your Java code or your Java program in your Windows machine. Okay. Okay. This is last year. So last year we were using version 18, but we'll use the latest Java version now, which is 20. Okay. And then for the IDE or your integrated development environment, so this is I'm not requiring you to install a specific IDE for now, but later down the line, the recommended IDE for Java development is your Eclipse. We can just download it in from the internet. Just follow this link. But I'm not requiring you to download it right now. We can just um, go with your preferred IDE or your preferred text editor, be it Sublime, Visual Studio Code, or whatever have you. Notepad, if you really want to. But that's it for this very short lecture. See you next week. Goodbye. Oops.